Hello, I'm Paul Kuzno, transformational leader from Sound of Prana, sharing some insights about the hero's journey. There's a critical step in the hero's journey, which is a concept that has been shared by Joseph Campbell, but really, so many cultures around the world are familiar with it. And there's three important phases. The first one is the call to adventure. And this is where you're pulled to make an important change and to really go on that epic journey that will awaken your full potential. Then there's the actual journey itself. This is where you're going to be confronting all of the different shadow materials. So that's like all of the unconscious gunk that you may not be dealing with, or that you may be aware, but that are influencing your actions and your decisions. And these tend to be represented in the male and the female aspect. So the father and the mother. And there's going to be all these allies that show up. But really, this is a much more detailed explanation required for that phase. What I want you to know is that ultimately you bring back the elixir of life. This is the answer, or whatever you've been seeking. You manage to find that, and then you bring it back into your community and you share that, which is the integration process. This is where you're creating something meaningful out of that journey. So why do I want to talk about answering the call? Answering the call, there's something that's really intense in that phase. And we don't realize it because it seems like answering the call will just make things worse. Now, what do I mean? You have a purpose, you have a calling, and you're not really sure the direction to take. You don't know the clear path to making that happen. And you think that by, perhaps waiting, a certain opportunity will present itself. Well, the universe is kind of like a trickster. So what it'll do is instead of presenting you that like amazing opportunity and making everything easier, it tends to make everything worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay? So you get it. But what happens is that you have something in you, a voice maybe, a feeling, and you know that you have something amazing to share, but for whatever reason, it's not the right time. So then, I'll use my own example, my life. I wasn't listening to that, so what happened? Romantic relationship failed. Then what happened? My job became unfulfilling. Then what happened? Oh no, economical crisis, personal economical crisis. Debts, liability, all these payments that I had to make. Then what? Questioning of myself. Then what? Paranoia, agoraphobia. All these different conditions started to stack. So do you understand how it wasn't really making it that I got more tools to move forward and share my gifts to the world and answer the call? But instead, it was just making it unbearable to the point where I left everything behind and I went in the Amazon rainforest to work with indigenous shamans. And that was just a crazy adventure that made me totally terrified. But I didn't feel like I had a choice by then, because everything I knew had collapsed and disintegrated into dust. That doesn't have to really be that way for you, but that's pretty much how the hero's journey plays out, based on the explanation of Joseph Campbell and the interpretation of yours truly, Paul Kuzno, and his life. So what I'm inviting you to consider is there something that you know that you should be doing? Something that you're being called to do? A gift that you have that you haven't been fully sharing? For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter why it's not happening. If the answer is yes, I invite you to consider, is it true that you have to wait? What would happen if you decided to make a statement to the universe and say, I am moving towards that goal. I am going to reach my full potential. And if you're not with people around you, if there's people around you, sure, you can do it. But if there's no one around you, I invite you to say that. I will reach my full potential. I will share my gifts with the world. I am going to take action. I love myself. And loving yourself is really what it comes down to. Because loving yourself means accepting who you are, and what you have to share with others. So I invite you to answer the call and to love and embrace yourself. If you like this video, I'd be grateful if you could share it on Facebook, as well as subscribe on the YouTube channel. It would make a really big difference for us at Sound of Prana. And I thank you for your time.